Michelle, what do you think, from your character, what would that have felt like for her?
This particular session, or just both of them?
Maybe the whole thing, if that's where you're thinking.
Probably would have challenged her beliefs about herself and, who she thought she was, and, going to seek help, from somebody who's the caretaker, is a big change. And
role reversal.
Yeah. Having to fight a lot of those stigmas and, and then opening up to somebody who was basically a nice acquaintance, but, she had no other options,
Yeah.
And having to reveal her deepest, darkest secrets, for someone upper middle class, you don't air your laundry, you just sweep it under the rug type thing. And
Yeah, I do think that's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for anybody that has to do that. But you were knowing that, as you saw it for her, it would have been a particularly big deal.
Mm-hmm. It would have been a real testament to how low she was and how serious the situation was. Mm-hmm. The fact that she would take that step, at least in my head. That's what I was thinking.
And so, I guess what I'd say is, I'll tell you a little bit about what was going on with me during our session today. I was a little bit like, she came back, so step one, that's really good. Don't have to worry at that level. And then I heard that some things went well, so I was, good at that level. And so kind of early on, I was making sure that I'm not off, that I'm not like overly optimistic about how things are going, because I'm like, well, let me make sure she's in the same place with me. Mm-hmm. So I was reminding myself to slow down on that. It's not time to celebrate yet. And then another thing that was kind of in my head was when you said something about somebody else in charge of your life. And it's always the principle I would want to keep with counseling anyway, of not being in charge of someone else's life, but partnering with them. But then at the same time, around imminent danger, I have a responsibility.
Right.
And so I'm trying to think, okay, now I want to handle this, and I know she doesn't. She's telling me I'm not going to like the feeling of you being in charge. So I was trying to be particularly careful with that.
Kind of a delicate balance.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's disempowering to start, going through, this is what you need. And, at a time that this character needs empowerment, not disempowerment.
Right. Yeah, and then you also think about, you being a man and maybe being a woman, and there's that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, so the usual inequity issues. Right. And she has, I guess we could say she has put her husband first. So, yeah, it's like, do I look like I'm in that role,
Yeah.
I actually wasn't thinking about that part as we were talking, but I think it's a good point for, people who are watching it to think about. It's like, there's also the gender inequity issue.
Yeah. Yeah, is there any transference there, and
Yeah. Plus, the counseling session is always like, to the client's view, and sometimes in reality, this is my turf, and I'm comfortable, you're vulnerable. Mm-hmm. So it's not equal.
Right. Yeah, especially for first-timers, have never been to counseling. It's scary. Might as well be, jumping in the water with sharks, wearing a chum necklace, So it's like...
Yeah, who is the stranger?
Yeah.
Can I think the clients can see all this stuff of me. You know.
Yeah, people ask me that all the time, almost like they assume that I can in some way read their minds.
Yeah.
I try not to snicker, but
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I'd be a billionaire if I could do that.